Let's talk a little bit about Drewzy's Athlete Academy. So let's strip it back, bare bones. How would you describe it to someone who has not heard of it, mate? It's your new business.
Drewzy's Athlete Academy is an online service which can level up the performance of athletes with other programs for muscle bulking and gym beginners. So that's the elevator pitch, I suppose. So basically, I provide an online service where athletes get access to an app, or if they're doing a running program, a training program, which I've delivered to athletes for the last 2.5 years. So guys that I've worked with at the State Academy, guys like Jed Buslinger, who's just got drafted, that sort of crop, those sort of guys are some people that I've trained. So I'm trying to think of other ones like Jacob Van Rooyen, who plays for Melbourne, Jed Buslinger. Guys that are going to continue to come up through the state system, I have trained with to improve their performance, and now I'm sharing the knowledge and experience, and with the results that I've previously had, I'm transferring it to people all around the world really that want it. So if you're an athlete looking to level up, it's results based. I'm not just giving you some random push-pull legs or some bro split, which is going to give you big muscles. If you're an athlete, you have to train like one. You have to do the right exercises. Your whole training has to be around improving performance. So if you're playing on a Saturday, say, and you go into the gym and just do some random split that you've done for the last few years, and you're doing 10 to 12 reps, what you don't really realize is if you're training legs, you're breaking down your muscle to a point where you're going to be at risk for injury on the Saturday. So all of my programs that are tailored to athletes have the game day in mind, the training schedule in mind, so that you're going to reduce the risk of injury whilst also increasing strength and boosting performance. And then I've got gym beginner programs, which is something that I can obviously relate to a lot because, as you know, when I first met you, Jesse, to be fair, I was just getting into the gym, but before I met you, all throughout high school, I was always the skinniest kid. Not even exaggerating, I was smaller than the year 9s when I was in year 12. I was 46, 47 kilos throughout high school. You could literally just lightly push me and I'd fall over, always feeling lethargic, always feeling tired, always just wanting to be better, but I didn't know how. And I just sort of felt sorry for myself all the time. I'm why do I feel like this? But then I started to just dial in my habits, started getting 8 hours of sleep first and foremost, and then I started training consistently. And then, my life completely changed within the space of sort of 4 or 5 months, just with consistent training. I was lucky that I had a good personal trainer to start out with. Whereas where some people go wrong in the gym is they'll say, all right, I want to go to the gym. They just rock up and they're okay, what do? I don't know anything about the human body. I don't know anything about training. And then within 2-3 weeks, because they don't know what they're doing, they just give up. So what my service for gym beginners entails is I'll write out every gym session for them with videos on there, so you know what exercises you're doing. And then these guys that sign up or girls that sign up can send me videos of them doing it. I can correct their form and just coach them through it. And it is a 12-week service, and I don't just do that to lock you in and take your money and run off. If you want to see results, you have to commit for 3 months. If you stop at 2 months, you're not going to see results. So I think 3 months is a good enough sort of body of work to see results as a gym beginner. I hope that sort of answers that one. And then the same for muscle bulking. The last few years I've been working on muscle bulking, and I've learned a lot about bodybuilding and stuff like that. So there's also that there for people that go to the gym, potentially don't know how to get the best out of their training in terms of muscle bulking. I've done it, bruv. I've put on 20 kilos in the last 2 years. So if you want to get hench, start out at the gym or an athlete, I've got you covered and I'll help you every step of the way.
That's crazy. I do have a question, but did you mention the running program as well? Because
true.
What you've told me, that one's been pretty popular. A lot of people coming to you with a need to increase their stamina, and it may not be a prospective athlete. Based on what you told me, it may not be a guy who's trying to get drafted. It might just be a guy who's playing amateur football or basketball, and they just want to get better so that they can perform better on the court or field. Tell us about the running program.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of guys that have sort of come to me and said look, I'm not playing football this year, but I might sort of play a 5-a-side or smaller scale competition, whether it's basketball or what do they call it? Like touch football. I'm not sure what it's called, but that sort of stuff. Like, or they might be aiming to play football next year, and they just want to get a good fitness base so that when they start, they can hit the ground running with confidence that they've done the work leading into it. What I've seen as a strength and conditioning coach in the like waffle system predominantly is kids that are trying to break through and they haven't got that base. So they show up to the 2K time trial, get a shit time. The coaches know straight away, and you're pretty much already starting at a disadvantage because you don't have the fitness, you haven't impressed the coaches, and you're not going to be able to run out 4 quarters and get contest to contest. So a lot of athletes that don't know how to train efficiently will just go on like a 10K run, which is good. You're going to improve your fitness like somewhat. But in football, how often are you running for 10K straight non-stop? So I've got a running program available, which is actually the cheapest program available on my website, where you can do a 9-week program or a 12-week program, which will increase your aerobic capacity, increase your running power, and then at the end, increase your sprint speed. And all throughout the program, there's drills that will improve your acceleration, change of direction, agility, and speed. So that one's been popular just because, I think obviously as a footballer, you're running a lot. But it's just about training effectively, taking out the guesswork with your running, because like a lot of people put in the work, like show up and put in the time, but they're just not doing the right thing. And then like you might as well show up, do the right thing to ensure that you're getting the results for the work you're putting in.
That's cool. So yeah, you've given us a pretty good comprehensive look at like the variety and the range of the programs that you offer and all the different people that could potentially find value in what you do. I kind of want to go back a little bit to when you said you were a teenager and stuff like that. You referenced, playing a lot of video games and not feeling happy with yourself, maybe disassociating a little bit. Do you have any idea how you got to that point? Like, why did you, as a teenager, sort of lean into that lifestyle? Because it's completely opposite to the way you are now.
Yeah, well, it's quite funny. Like, my greatest weakness sort of became my greatest strength. Like, I was the weakest kid, and now I help the strong kids get stronger. Like, it's really weird how you find purpose in something that was a complete opposite to what I was at the time. So what was your question? Like, how did I get to where I am now, I suppose? From where I was?
I guess the thread I'm kind of pulling at is, we have a lot of young men that watch this podcast in particular, 18 to 35 male, and I dare say the stats are a little bit skewed. They're probably more under 18s than that, but it's such an easy path for, a young guy who doesn't know better to delve into the game of video games. They're not engaged at school. They're not enjoying what they do. They don't feel good about themselves. And then they look towards, video games and those kind of activities because, the dopamine makes it addictive. And obviously it's fun. I'm not knocking video games at all. But we're seeing an increasing amount of young men sort of delve further into that and withdraw a little bit. And it can start at a pretty young age. So I guess I was trying to get a picture of your state of mind as to why, as a young teenager, you felt like why did you play video games? It was just fun and you just got hooked on it, or you're just not enjoying school?
I always played games. Like, all throughout growing up, I loved my COD. Like, I was literally such a gun at that game. No pun intended, there's guns in that game. But like, I would just play it all the time because I was so good at it. Same as FIFA. Because it was all I did, so I was good at it.
Were you an MP5 or an AK-47?
UMP-45 Modern Warfare 2 is my favourite gun of all time, with a silencer. Spaz 12 is the secondary. Marathon Pro. Anyway, we could go on all day about...
I'm more of a ray gun from Black Ops type operator, but continue.
Yeah, COD zombies. But yeah, like, it just got to the point where I was like, what are you doing? Like, waking up at 12 o'clock or like after midday, going to sleep at a stupid hour in the morning, just playing games. And I just wanted to take like responsibility of and accountability of where I was at in my life. Like, I read a book which we sort of laugh about, but like, it's called Discipline Equals Freedom. And it basically says like, the weights aren't going to lift themselves. There's no shortcut to get to where you want to be. How bad do you want to be there? What sort of person do you want to be? Take responsibility. And then there's no excuses for where you end up. So like, you can really take the guesswork out when you start to look at your habits, and where that can lead you to. So yeah, sort of after I finished high school, it was just all about action. Like, people live in their thoughts so much. Like, I'd love to get strong. I'd love to have a six pack. I'd love to lose some body fat. I don't like where I am now. I'm not happy with myself in my own skin at the moment, and I'd love to get there. And the thing with like human psychology is you probably have these same thoughts every single day. Like 85 to 90% of the thoughts you had yesterday, you'll probably have again today. So like, if you have that thought of, I want to get better, I'm not happy in the current state that I'm in, you're going to do nothing by just thinking about it. Even consuming content about it, you're not going to do anything. It's all about action. So I just really started taking action and accountability, and it just come with discipline and consistency. So like, when you get off the Xbox, you've got nothing else. Like, when you're so addicted to it like I was, like, you turn off the console and then what have you got? Like, nothing, because you're just living in a screen. Like, exercising, like, your body starts to feel better. You get these natural highs. You start to get confidence in your body, and it bleeds into every area of your life. Like, once you get physical strength, you get mental strength, you get more confidence in your relationships, with work, business, just everything. Like, you'll be shocked how drastically your mental state changes when you're not exercising compared to when you do exercise. And that's something that I know you found, Jesse. Like, when you're exercising, you're a lot more motivated to do things like this, produce more content. And yeah, like, look at you now, you've been exercising all summer long and you've been producing content and whatnot. So I think, yeah, if you're a kid at home that isn't exercising, you're not in a good mental space, like, look at your habits, look at what you're doing. Because, as I said at the start, you're not experiencing suffering, you're suffering experience. If day to day you're not happy, you need to change your experience. And I think exercise is a great way to do that, because at the end of the day, humans are not designed to sit at a desk for 9 hours a day looking at a screen. You got to get your muscles working. Your muscles, there's lots of muscles in your body, and they're catabolic organs, which basically means they operate best when they're broken down and then anabolically rebuilt up again. So treat your body right and your mind will become a lot stronger.